It's 9 p.m. and we are back here on
How to Ace Your Career.
So guys, like you all know, we come here every Friday night to help you in some or the other way to grow in your career, to ace in your career. And this is especially meant for mid-age professionals, which means people with 12 to 15 plus years of experience. Why do we come here and share this with people? I'm a career and a life coach, and I've been coaching mid-age professionals for over a decade to grow in their career, facing challenges in their career like career stagnation, they want to transit, or probably a toxic boss, or becoming a manager, leadership skills, whatever that is stopping you from your next level. Or probably you're looking for a new job. You've been there, you've done it, and now you want to move out. All these kind of transitions in your career is where we play a role. And of course, the most important thing is work-life integration that we teach to our clients. But that's it from me. And
I'm Dheeraj, I'm a career coach, life coach, and both of us put together, we create this company, ND Life Coaching.
Yes.
So tonight we will discuss how to make a career change and find success in your new career.
So of course, Vidya has spoken last time how she did multiple transitions. Varun spoke how he transited from engineering to banking sector. Vidya did from freelancer to corporate jobs. A lot of things which we discussed last time. But you know what? Today I would like to discuss the process of how to do it.
Absolutely.
When do we transit? That is what we discussed the last time. When do you think that is the right time that I should change my career? This time it is when you've decided that you want to change your career. How do you do it, right? And we all know that today probably changing career may not be an option that you want to choose. Sometimes your skills get redundant. You are laid off, and probably you were an expert in some subject and that subject doesn't exist only. And you're left with no choice but to change your career.
So true.
So changing career, of course, can be an exciting journey. But that only happens when you have a solid plan, and that makes the case or the process smoother. Tonight, let's really get back to the actual process on how do you make the career change. And let's first listen from our guests who are joining us. How did they make it happen? And then we'll discuss the points. So I would like to invite Vidya and Varun back again. This time we are discussing the process. So welcome Vidya and Varun. We are happy to have you once again explaining this process. So let's start from Vidya. Vidya, you've gone through multiple transitions in your career. And without really sharing your story, I want you to share your story on how did you make this happen smoothly and become successful in the role that you're playing currently.
Okay, so thanks a lot and good evening, everyone. So, as we discussed in our last session, right, I was a freelancer and it was marriage. After marriage, I had to relocate and come to this new city called Pune. And Pune was a city which was totally new to me. I had no friends, no contacts, or nothing that was connected to what I was doing in Bombay. So, once I came here, I felt lonely and I was clueless about the career options regarding Mandarin in Pune, right? And this obviously took a toll on my health, and there came a point when I was on multiple antidepressants and sleeping pills, and life was really not up to the mark. And things got so bad that my husband decided to approach Dheeraj sir, because Dheeraj sir has been mentoring and tutoring my husband for I think the last 20 years. So he said that he would be the right person. So he put me in touch with Dheeraj sir. So first, what Dheeraj sir did to me was he brought me out of the emotional mess that I was in. We worked on my physical health together. And once I came, I started showing improvements. We started together exploring the career options for teaching Mandarin in Pune. And that was, I would say, a very meticulous process wherein we listed down all the institutes that were wanting a Mandarin teacher. Once that list was clear, I started applying for interviews, and having a past experience also helped, right? So I got a breakthrough there and I started teaching Mandarin. This greatly helped me because I came out of the pills, because I started, it rejuvenated me, it rekindled the hope, and I had something to do on in my life, right? So that helped me a lot, and I started teaching Mandarin, and it went on for I think a year or so. That's when Dheeraj sir again said that in order to stabilize, and I was also at all this while I was also looking for some financial independence and stability. Of course, it was still a freelancing job, right? It was not a full time teaching job in Pune. So I was still looking for that financial stability, and that's when we decided that the next transition has to happen. That is from being a freelancer to becoming a corporate employee. This was again something very, very new to me, because although I had been to several corporates teaching Mandarin, I had never worked for a corporate. It was a very big change for me. And the very thought of appearing for an interview gave me goosebumps, because this earlier the process was not the same, right? Teacher, Mandarin teacher, I was recruited for my skills alone. Now, so there I needed a lot of help just to come out of the fear of appearing for a corporate interview. So Dheeraj sir very beautifully brought me first, helped me overcome my fear of the interview by conducting mock interviews. He used to be my interviewer. I used to appear for his interview. He used to actually give me questions that prepare on these questions, appear for the interview. And his interviews, believe me, guys, were more difficult than the actual panel interview. So, and it was again, I would say, a very careful consideration by listing down the companies that needed my skills, right? And how my Mandarin language skills would actually add value to the company. And knowing the company, exploring, researching thoroughly on the company gave me a lot of confidence, because when I appeared for the interview and those questions were asked, I actually could speak about the company because so much of research background work had already gone in. So after this mock interviews, and Dheeraj sir prepared me, and that time it was not the Zoom calls. We actually had to go and appear for an offline interview. So you actually told me what attire to wear, how to present myself, what should be my posture. Every single detail was taken care of. So that interview, I wouldn't say was very tough, although I had the initial nervousness, but it went off because, as I said, he prepared me thoroughly for that. Right. So I mean, I was surprised, but not surprised, because I landed with the very first corporate interview, and the salary was, I think, 10, 15 times than what I had made all my life previously. So it was a very huge jump for me, and that gave me a lot of stability, and I got back all the lost hope in my life, right?
I'll just interrupt here. I still remember, where that was the first interview. She went in the morning, and evening she came back with an offer letter.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
whatever amount she said, she quoted. She was damn scared. I said, "You will quote this much only," and they just give her. And the first thing she came, "अरे sir, मैंने कम मांग लिया क्या? ज़्यादा मांगना चाहिए था." Because she did not negotiate.
Absolutely.
Whatever amount she said, they gave her. That's how she cracked the interview. Yeah,
Yes.
carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, several rounds were there, but as sir rightly mentioned, it didn't seem like it, because I was already prepared, right? So the mind was already set that, okay, what to expect and what not to expect. So I landed up with the job, and corporate job was something obviously new to me. The word scrum calls, word stakeholders, everything was new to me. And the day job, which I had to do, was also not something that I had done earlier. So Dheeraj sir again worked with me, and he was a rock solid support during the initial stages. I still remember every day evening I used to call him, sir, ye nahi ho raha, ye nahi ho raha. He used to be there. It is just this, Vidya, go and face it. And then he used to prepare me. So this went on for a couple of years until the unexpected called COVID happened, and I became redundant. My skills became redundant for some reason. The company, the organization decided to shift their focus, and my skills were no longer needed. That's when Nutan ma'am came to my rescue, and she was a silent observer all this while when Dheeraj sir was grooming me. She told me you have two important skills. One, you can communicate well. Number two, you have a skill of picking up a foreign language. So she started working on both these points with me, right? So the communication skills, number one, she honed my skills. She told me how to write emails, how to communicate with the external stakeholders, how to communicate with the internal stakeholders. This process not only helped me retain my job during COVID, but I became the triage manager. I became the face of customer escalations for my team. And during those uncertain times, I managed to end up with a promotion as a lead, right? So that was a second transition. And with more added responsibilities. And as I mentioned, she also helped me appear for my Japanese language exams. And I started appearing, meticulous planning, day to day planning. And I cleared a couple of levels while all this was going on. Now, after becoming a lead, again, there were added responsibilities. And that's when she noticed that I'm good in creating processes, in streamlining processes. So she said, Vidya, we need to work on these skills. So she again helped me, how to create a process, how to convince your stakeholders that how would this process be of help to them, rather than just making and creating process and just making it lie there. And I created a couple of processes, both internal and external, and this caught the high of my leadership. And again, as this was the transit, I mean, I was slowly coping up with the leaders, the lead role. And in throughout the journey, she also helped me hone my leadership skills. Somehow she thought that I could become a people's manager, and I started working with her. And that one major shift that I had to do was moving from being a me to thinking about the we, right? So that shift was really difficult for me, because being very focused in my day job, I never thought of what would be going on in my colleagues' life. But she said, Vidya, if you have to go for the next leap, you need to develop your managerial skills. You need to develop the leadership skills. So, alongside my project management skills, she also started honing my leadership skills. And as life would turn out, this April, again, my manager had to move out to a different vertical for her career progression, and my team was left without a manager. So quickly, I just put all the strategies, all the techniques that the Nutan ma'am was had taught me, and I took care of the entire team for one whole quarter. Be it lending of professional help to my colleagues, deliverables, taking care of the deliverables, handling the stakeholders, customer escalations. It was crazy. But at all this, something good happened, which caught the eye of the leadership team. So they said, why don't you appear for the manager? Why don't you apply and appear for a panel interview? Again, I mean, the ghost of interviewing came. I mean, there were goosebumps again, right? Because it was 6 years since I had last appeared for the interview. So once again, and this time it was a bigger panel with all leadership. The entire leadership was there as a panel. I had to prepare a formal PPT and explain how would I, improve my engagement scores, employee engagement scores. So again, Nutan ma'am sat with me every single day. She used to tell me right from, how to prepare a PPT. I still remember my very first PPT. It was all red and black, screaming aloud all my, negativity. She said, this is not how a formal PPT is made, Vidya. She sobered it down. She put only those points which were relevant, which would communicate what exactly the leaders wanted. She could actually sense the pulse of, the leaders. These are the questions that could probably come your way. Honestly, these are the ways that you need to answer the questions. That again gave me a lot of confidence, because this actually happened. She was the interviewer, and again, like Dheeraj sir, she is a taskmaster. If you crack her interview, I think any leader can be taken care of. So this went on for a couple of days. I think we prepared for nearly a month, back and forth, the interview sessions, the PPTs, everything went on. And finally, when I appeared for the interview, the leaders were damn impressed. I mean, I could sense that they have offered me the role that night itself. I was very confident. Then I had a interview with the CTO, which I never imagined. But again, that I was quite confident, because there was so much preparation in the background that nothing seemed like a surprise. I exactly knew how to approach them, right? So finally, no surprises. I landed up with a role of manager, and this time the salary was again unimaginable. I never imagined these figures in my life, but it was a very handsome salary package. And in the first month, again, as being a manager, in the first month, I was given this big task of improving my employee engagement score. That was my panel presentation. And after working for 3 months together with Nutan ma'am, I got a whopping score of nearly 4.9 out of 5, which according to the leaders is excellent. I mean, this could have not been possible, guys, because everything is so meticulously planned, and they are there at every step, coaching you, guiding you, foreseeing the problems that you may possibly face, and then helping you, right? And knowing your strengths, right? So this has been my career transition journey, right from being a freelancer to appearing for my first job, then becoming a lead, now a manager. So thanks to you guys, nothing could have been possible. This is all the result of a very careful, meticulous, strategic, and very considerate mentoring and tutoring by the both of you. Thank you.
Wow,
Thank you, Vidya, for sharing this story. I think, guys, all of you who are watching us live, it's time to shower some love and appreciation for this success story that Vidya has just narrated. It's really been an amazing journey, and really a pride for both of us to be
absolutely.
able to help you, coach you through this journey. because when you get results, that's where
Yeah,
the
it's so
success
much of
story.
joy that
Yes.
6, 7 years back there was a kid, a girl who came to us with earning some few thousands of rupees, and today she's earning few lakhs of rupees. So that idea itself is so amazing for us. It's like your own kid has done something great. So thank you, Vidya. It was really amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And
Yes.
now coming to the next story of Varun. Varun, an engineer who did engineering in what?
Electronics and
Okay.
telecommunication.
And from there, banking sector. So let's hear to your transition.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. So hi, I'm Varun, and as this ma'am said, I started. I did electronics and telecommunication engineer, and I was doing a job in engineering field for around 8 to 9 months, but I didn't enjoy it at all. And I was always passionate about food and beverages, so that led
Well,
me to.
one question I'll hold you here, Varun. How many engineers out there listening to us now or later will share this, that they did their engineering because they had no option? You were forced by situation, circumstance, parents,
Family,
peer,
peers, whatever.
whoever, become an engineer. And after taking that degree, you end up saying, I don't want to do engineering jobs. So I would love to hear that in the comment section, that you were an engineer and you've shifted your career. Yes, Varun,
Yeah,
please go ahead.
carry on.
Yeah. So then, so I never enjoyed my engineering job, and I was only interested in food and beverages, and that's how I opened my own cafe, my coffee shop, which I ran well for 4 years. But then later on, it started running into losses, and I had, of course, taken a loan for it. Uh, that is the time I needed for external help. I required some help, and I reached out to Dheeraj sir and Nutan ma'am. Now, there were two things. One, I was very emotionally attached to my cafe, and second, of course, it was running into a financial losses. So, sir and ma'am, guided me, and eventually I closed the coffee shop. But then the idea was what next, because it was quite some time I finished my engineering degree, and what I was doing my own cafe, I didn't have a professional hotel management degree, so I couldn't get into an hospitality industry. So, sir and ma'am, noted that I'm good in like I like connecting to people and making friends, and that's how I landed in a sales job. So again, I had no idea about sales, how to give an appear for an interview, what is sales all about. I've never sold a product, so they guided me again from an HR interview to manager to the national head, and even for the salary negotiations. And my first job was into an insurance field where I was doing into a direct marketing, which is door to door marketing. I was working there for 9 months, and then I got picked up from one of the largest bank in India for insurance field into a banker channel, which is I have to send insurance through a bank. So I was working there for again 4 years, and after having this experience, what next? So then we came to a conclusion that I would explore MNC as an option, and I got into an multinational bank, one of the largest bank in the world across the globe. I did really well in that MNC. I was awarded number one for all 8 quarters. I was also chosen as uh, I was also chosen as one of the nominees for the President Awards, which is only two people across the globe in that organization. And I started making a lot of incentives, so much so that they told me that we cannot give you more incentive than this. This is the highest slab.
Yeah.
So, and then yes, they told me that you can do more numbers, but there'll be no incentive above this. So that is when I was working there, I got a call from another bank, which is again our largest bank. And here my job was to handle a team of 10 people, which I got into that bank, and I was handling a team of 10 people, selling all various products in banking. So from insurance, then I started to current account, saving account, the POS terminal, QR codes, loans. Uh, so after my experience for around 7 to 8 years, I wanted to explore something else, and then again, with the help of Dheeraj sir and Nutan ma'am, I got into corporate banking. Now I'm working into a corporate banking sector where I've been working for 2.5 years, which is again the largest bank in the country. And here my job is to onboard large corporates above 500 crores and above turnover, and my targets is thousand of crores. So I started from basically retail sales, where my job was to have a target or do sales from some 100,000 lakhs to now it has reached to thousands of crores. So this is my transition from an engineer to running my own cafe, from retail banking sales, selling all banking products, and now into a corporate sales. And there was a time when I was running behind people for jobs, but now it was the other way, where people noticed that I'm performing and they started calling me. And even though this job I got through a reference, where when I posted, they said, "Oh, this is the guy." And my current manager was told, given a positive feedback about me, and that's how I got recruited in this corporate banking sector. So this is my transition from my own business to a corporate banking sector.
Wow.
Thank you.
So, guys, all of you listening there, how many of you really are in that situation that you have been working and your work has become so known in the industry that your competitors are reaching out to you and telling that you're welcome aboard? We would love to have you in our organization.
I think, sorry to interrupt,
Yeah.
but one more thing, what I want to share here. I remember when I said, Varun, like, you need to get in sales. He said, sales? No way. That's not my cup of tea. I'm not a sales guy. I can never sell. And today, he's doing so well that he's been awarded again and again because his numbers are amazing, which means we can develop whatever skills we want if we want to. And that's what I think entire Varun story. So thank you, Varun. It was amazing.
So we will quickly share here what we have been doing with our clients when it comes to a career change, and not only career change, but to make them successful in their new career.
Yep.
So the first step is about, of course, self-assessment. It's about identifying your skills, your strengths, and your interests. Like, for example, Varun's strength and interest had been building good relation with his clients, whereas Vidya's strength was love for the Chinese language, her extrovert nature, and that formed the base of their career change.
Second was, you need to consider your values and what you want in your next career. Like for Vidya, it was all about more money, more engagement.
And for Varun, of course, it was stability of income and interacting with people. So he wanted to get married, he wanted a stable income, but it also had to come with a role where he could interact with more people. And then, of course, the last part of the self-assessment is, what are your past experiences? What are the lessons that you have learned which you can use in your new career? So for Varun, again, lessons learned from dealing with various clients helped him define his new career, and dealing with the staff, vendors at his cafe helped him deal with people from various other departments. Because as a sales guys, if you don't have good relation with your customer relationship
It could be the
manager,
operation, it could be the finance, it could be logistic, it could be so many people you need to, like all the sales people know, you have to handle everything on your own.
and for Vidya, of course, she was giving training to the corporate employees on language and culture, which also helped her in her new job.
The second point is research. You need to explore potential career paths that align with your self-assessment. Sales seemed to be the best option for Varun to help him figure out his new career. Whereas for Vidya, she started looking for a job which would need her bilingual sales.
Of course, then gather the information about industry trends, job opportunities. Like Vidya just shared, she looked into all the companies which would be interested in her Chinese language skills. That is what gave her confidence that yes, I would have some job. Whereas for Varun, he had to actually build knowledge of banking industry and the various products. The third is, of course, network with professionals in the field that you are interested in. That is how opportunities open up for you.
The third thing is skill development. Identify any skill gaps between your current abilities and the requirement of your desired skill. Like for Varun, we had to build sales skills. That's what they did. And for Vidya, she had to build skills required to function effectively in a corporate environment, managerial skills, and all that stuff.
Then of course it's important, if you don't have the skills, like they learned it from us, if you don't have someone like us, a coach, then it's time to enroll in courses and training programs to build the skills. Today Vidya as a manager is helping her juniors to build these kinds
So
of skills
true.
which can help them grow in their career.
And also seek opportunities to gain experience through volunteering yourself for any kind of work or side projects.
So this is one very important thing, that each one of you sitting there, if you're interested in a transition in a career, don't just wait there. Look around and see if there are some additional projects that you can take up while you're working. That will be the best way to make that lateral shift to your new career.
Yep. And then fourth is financial planning. Now, this is one of the most important part of the transition. What I've done with myself, what I've done with so many clients. Plan for your finance. The one of the biggest reason why people fail in transition, they don't work on their finance, and after some time, it becomes very difficult. It's good to have a spouse support if both of you are earning.
So first thing, like we said, financial planning is very important, which means evaluate your financial situation and budget for the transition. Like when we did our transition from employee to employer, we took 1 year span, and in that 1 year, how we would manage our family expenses. If anything uncertain emergency came up, how we would pull out money. And if nothing happened in that 1 year, we would go back to a corporate job.
So true.
But in that 1 year, 9 months, we didn't have any kind of clients. But you know why we sustained those 9 months? Because we were very clear how will we manage our financial situation.
Yep.
Varun couldn't think of an MBA, though he wanted a new career. He had to continue with his existing skills because he didn't have the money. Vidya had her husband's support. So naturally, this whole transition became easier because she could hire a coach.
Also you can do is consider the potential income of your new career and any necessary lifestyle adjustment. Like, one of my client, he left a very handsome associate director job and he got into his own business, but the potential income he knew is so high, and today it's not even 9 months, he's actually on that money in 9 months itself with his new business. So that also needs to connect, and of course save an emergency fund to cushion the transition.
Then, of course, the most important thing today, it wasn't relevant 10 years back when we were helping our clients, but today it's very important, professional branding.
Yep.
Update your resume and LinkedIn profile to reflect your new career goals, relevant skills. Develop a personal brand that aligns with the industry that you're entering. And we have really spoken and done a proper video on this. You can reach out to us and we can share that link to you.
Yep.
And of course, very, very crucial, gather references and testimonials from your contacts that can vouch for your skills and character.
The sixth one is job search and application, which means prepare tailored cover letters and application for position you're interested in. Leverage your network for job leads and introduction. And finally, practice, like what Vidya and Varun both said, for interviews to confidently convey your transition story.
Then, of course, the seventh one is very, very important. Once you start receiving the job roles, what should you do? So, decision making and job offer evaluation. I've had so many of my clients having multiple offers and choosing which one is the best one. So, assess your job offers based on the role, the company culture, and career growth opportunities. Very, very important. Negotiate salaries and benefits as and when you're interviewing and you know that you're in the right fit. Please negotiate the salary. And finally, choose the offer which aligns with your long-term goals and personal values, not just the money that is coming in.
And last, during the transition, communicate your career change plans to your current employer professionally if necessary.
So you remember last time Bobby was there in our session and she mentioned this, right? So she moved from production to being a EA and then moving into HR role. Now, all these shifts happened. One happened in a new company, in a new city, but the second one happened in the existing company. So when you're feeling that you're not enjoying your job and something else could be better, go and speak to your existing manager and figure out what lateral shift or new role that you want.
Absolutely.
You can express that if you're really doing well in your career. Believe me, the company will give you an option.
Like Bobby's concerned, she just not got into HR role, but when she left the company, she was the HR head of that unit. That is what we are talking in transition. Finally, establish goals for the first 90 days in your new role. This is something very crucial. And most important, what has been my biggest strength of life, both of us, seek mentorship or guidance from seasonal professions in your new field.
So you need to reach out to the coaches who actually have either done it in their lives or they've helped other people do this. And if this is done, believe me, getting into a career of your choice, something that you love to do, and especially today, like I said, earlier it was you enter your career and 40 years you don't have to worry. Today, that's not the situation. Today, multiple times you'll have to move into new industry or new roles. And that is why it's important to know this change in your career, this entire process. We've had these success stories. Thank you, Vidya and
Varun,
for really narrating these beautiful